Good morning, good morning, good morning, and happy Wednesday, happy hump day. We made it to the middle of the week, and it is a beautiful, beautiful morning. Yeah, they're cutting the grass on the field. It's a beautiful morning, beautiful morning. This is the day that the Lord has made. We're rejoicing and we're glad in it. Come and get your walk on with me. I'm Gigi here in the 757. Another beautiful morning, another opportunity to take advantage of all of those benefits that come with walking and coming with movement. Well, this morning, I just want to share this gym nugget this morning based on our daily bread devotional. This is a beautiful story. This is a beautiful story. Well, the title of the devotional is Loving Others in Jesus. But my gym nugget is there's love at the king's table. There's love at the king's table. When I first saw this title, it made me think of Psalm 23, where it says that he prepares a table before me in the presence of my enemies. But look, this beautiful story, I tell you. Well, let me set it up for you. Well, we know that David was the second king of Israel. The reason why he was the second king of Israel, because in the beginning, the people wanted a king. They wanted a king, just like the other um, countries and lands. And they already had a king, and their king was God. But they wanted a king, somebody they could see, somebody they could touch. And so, God gave them what they wanted. And he gave them a man named Saul. And Saul started out real good. He did the things that God commanded him up to a certain point. And when he disobeyed God, God removed the kingdom from him, but not before he had someone else in mind. He already had a man after his own heart, and that man was David. That man was David. And so um, David was anointed king, but he couldn't be appointed king because Saul was still the king at the time. And I always loved David because he said, I will not. He had so many opportunities to destroy Saul because Saul, after the kingdom was taken away, he just hated David and he tried so many times to kill him. And David had some opportunities where he could have killed Saul. But David always said, I will not touch God's anointed or do his servant any harm. And Saul just hated David. But Saul's son, Jonathan, oh my God, he loved David so much. He loved David so much, almost like a brother. At one point, he took his um, kingly garments off and traded them for David's. And he loved David so much so that Saul couldn't understand this love that was between David and Jonathan. Because Saul, at one point, he said, why are you um, being friends with the enemy? Because Jonathan was in line to be king after his father would die. But Jonathan loved David. Oh my goodness. But one day there was a battle, and both Saul and Jonathan was killed in the battle. So therefore David became king. But because of David's love for Jonathan, after a while, David started thinking he wanted to find some way to, to show his love for Jonathan, although he had been killed in the battle. And so it starts here in 2 Samuel, the 9th chapter. David asks, is there anyone still left of the house of Saul to whom I can show kindness for Jonathan's sake? Now they found out there was a servant in Saul's house named Ziba, and they got Ziba to come to David. And David asked, "Is there no one still alive from the house of Saul? Anybody to whom I can show God's kindness?" And Ziba let him know, Jonathan has a son. His name is Mephibosheth, but he's lame on his feet because as they were trying to get away from the battle, his nurse dropped him on his feet, and he was lame from that point on. And so, regardless, David said, bring him to me. Bring him to me. And of course, you probably knew how Mephibosheth felt. He was probably fearful. He said, my father was killed in the battle. Now, what can this be? And he was very fearful. And he came to David very meek, and he bowed down and he paid David honor. And David called out his name. He said, Mephibosheth. And Mephibosheth said, at your service, because he was coming as humble as he knew how, even being lame. But this is the verse. Verse 7. David said, don't be afraid, for I will surely show you kindness for the sake of your father Jonathan. I will restore to you all the land that belonged to your grandfather Saul, and you will always, this is the part, eat at my table. Oh, that's powerful right there. I will always eat at my table. There's love at the king's table. There's love for everybody at the king's table, even those that are perceived as enemies. There's still love at the king's table. You know, I love this song by Richard Smallwood. Come over here where the table is spread and the feast of the Lord is going on. You'll find joy at the table. You'll find peace at the table. Guess what? Most of all, you'll find love at the table. You'll find love at the king's table. And see, this is the kind of love that we must extend even to our enemies. Jesus did it. Jesus did it even when he was on the cross. What is that kind of love called? It's called agape love. It's called agape love, a love that loves in spite of. But see, David wanted to extend that same love that had been extended to him. And he wasn't going to stop until he found somebody that he could show that same love that had been extended to him. Do you try to love those, even if they were someone, even if they were an enemy, but to extend that love to bring about unity? Oh my goodness. I love the way that this devotional ends. It says, let's practice unified love, making sure to honor, here we go, in Jesus' love. The only way we can do it, we got to do it like Jesus. We used to have those bracelets. What would Jesus do? WWJD. And Jesus would have love, just like David had showed love to Mephibosheth, who was lame on his feet. That was the son of grandson of his enemy, but son to someone that he loved so much. Oh, that has always been a beautiful story. But it says, let's practice unified love, making sure to honor in Jesus' love, everyone, 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 that covers it all. I don't even have to say anything else about that. Everyone we encounter. Oh my goodness. Isn't that beautiful? Because guess what? There's love at the king's table. There's love at the king's table. Isn't that a beautiful thing? You'll always find love at the table. Oh my goodness. Well, today is Wednesday, and thank you for joining me walking 1K with Gigi. Subscribe to the Gem Nugget channel. We are over 49,000 subscribers at this point, getting close to our weekly goal of 50,000 subscribers, always fulfilling the mission, going into all the world, teaching all nations. Oh my goodness. And also inspiring and instructing. Oh my goodness. And I also would invite you to get a walking 1K with Gigi shirt. You can get your shirt and you can put it on, and it'll be just like y'all walking with me or with me on these Mondays through Fridays. And you can get that at gg1kstore.etsy.com. How'd you do that? Well, I'm gonna finish this walk. It is another beautiful day. But remember, oh my God, remember, there's always love at the king's table. Y'all be blessed.